Okay, our verse today is Hebrews 4:16. This may be something that is familiar to many of you. It says, "Therefore, let us draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in a time of need." Because it starts with the word therefore, that often means the verses before give some context to it. And the verses before this talk about how nothing is hidden from God. He knows everything. He knows our heart. He knows our thoughts. He knows our mind. We can't hide anything from him, and he loves us anyway. It also mentions that and talks about how Jesus, the Son of God, came to earth as a man. So he understands what we're going through. So, because of those two things, therefore, we can draw near with confidence to the throne of grace. We don't have to be scared or worried. We can go with confidence. And it says we'll receive mercy and find grace. If you've heard the definition of mercy and grace, mercy means not receiving the things you deserve. We deserve punishment. Grace means that we get things we don't deserve. We don't deserve all the things God gives us, but we can go to the throne of grace during our time of need and find that mercy and grace. So I pray for you all that when you're having those times at school or just in life in general, that you will go to the throne of grace with confidence and get that mercy and grace that he so freely gives us. Okay, so here we are at globalteacherhub.com. This is where all of the teaching resources are. Hoping you're finding this helpful in getting resources and using resources. We've been talking a lot about math, so we're going to click on math. Over here is where we have been focusing the last few weeks. We've started on number talks. Video number 1 is the introduction to number talks. So the rest of this won't make as much sense to you until you watch number 1. They go in order. Here's some resources of lesson plans to do number talks. The first number talk is on counting and how to, working on counting. So all of these resources are on counting, video 2 and video 3. And then right now we're all talking about 5 frames and mostly a 10 frame. So the first video is my video introducing what a 10 frame is. Last week I sent this wonderful resource of another teacher online on how to use a 10 frame. You really want to watch that. She's really good. And then today I'm going to show you an online resource. And so here's the resource right here. And this is today's video that you're watching right now. This would be the link if you wanted to see it again. So let's go to the resource. So this is online website. Excuse me. If you have a projector, I think this would be very handy to use. I've said before that I like a wireless mouse, if you have one, and I carry around like a clipboard. And I put my wireless mouse on the clipboard, and that way I can walk around the room and still use this resource. So when you click here, you see the different frames. So if you're doing just starting, you might want to do a 5 frame. 10 frame. Later on, you can get into here. 10 frames, as I have mentioned before, are great when you get into decimals. But we're just going to do the 10 frame for today. So we click and we get a 10 frame. We can move it around. Then these are our counters. So I can do 1 counter at a time. Or if I'm not working on counting out ones, I can do a whole row of 5s. But for now, let's just drag, and you'll notice it just drops it into the cell that is the closest. And we can talk to our students about what this 10 frame, how many that is. Later, if you are beginning to show them that this is 5, if you've watched the lady in the video I just pointed out in our resources. She does a lot of this. And how did the students know it was 5? They're beginning to see that 3 and 2 make 5. So there's lots of resources. Or if you drag this over, it just fills out all 5 at once for you. Okay, so down here we have start over. So that will clear it for us. Start over, clear all. So that takes everything away for us. Let's put another 10 frame on here. And right here we can see that we can rotate our frame. Here we have a 5 grid. Let's click on that. So we can take our 5 grid, take the grid in and out, zooming. Later I'm going to show you what this screen does. Is really cool. It's a cover, but I do like this duplicate. So if I was putting 5 on here, oh goodness, look at that. Didn't have it in the right slot. But then I hit this duplicate. Oh, you know what? Very interesting. I forgot it did this. See how that's selected because it's blue? It's going to duplicate whatever I have in blue. So I want this highlighted and duplicate the whole thing. My mistake. But we all learn from it. So that's why mistakes are okay. So if you want to start getting into counting into the teens, in the 20s, we would do it this way. 10, 15, 16. Or how does your students ask them how they counted it? I knew this was 10, then I just counted, or 10 and then 5 and then 1. However they choose to count it, because all of their brains, as we've been talking about, work differently. But when you get into decimals, it's 1 whole and 6 out of 10. So that's 6/10. So it's kind of what, if you get them used to using 10 frames in this counting and subitizing, which we've been talking about, then when you want to move into decimals, they'll really have it down well. Okay, but this is kind of interesting. Let's look. Let's try making sure that one's selected. Putting it, oh, no, it didn't matter. Okay, I kind of forgot how some of this works. This will drag it. So if you wanted to have this covered, or even this one covered, and we want to count, and then this allows you to see it, and then not see it, and this gets rid of it. So it's kind of interesting. So if I was using this in my classroom back when I taught 5th grade, I probably would have several of these ready and just covered. So we could look at one set and then uncover the next set. So I might have like a set here, a set here, here, and here, because I don't want to use my classroom time getting this ready. So I would have it ready in advance in a tab at the top of my computer, and then just open it up as it goes. Okay, so we talked about the duplicating. You have to have whatever highlighted. I believe if I highlight this, then I could just get rid of one thing at a time. I honestly don't know what this... Oh, I don't think we're interested in that one. You can work on that. If you wanted to share this would be like if the students all had computers, or a teacher you work with, probably not that as much. And I'm not going to go over these, but you've got different covers that you can fill in. You just kind of keep playing with this, some different colors you can choose, that kind of thing. But I just wanted to show you what this was, how to delete everything. And the trash is how to delete one at a time, whatever's highlighted. So I believe if I have that highlighted, I would delete that whole cell, that whole 10 frame right there. So this is a great online resource. Another way for you to do 10 frames with your students. So if you have any questions, as always, just ask them. I hope that you're finding the 10 frame helpful and you're seeing how your students are understanding counting and the way our numbers have relationships to each other. Because as we do these as little talks, then our students are going to understand addition, subtraction, multiplication easier once they have this foundation.